Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife video for you. Today, we're going to talk about the best and worst trends of 2018. And I mean model year 2018. Blade show's over, SHOT Show's over. We kind of know almost everything that's going to come out the rest of this year. There'll be some onesie-twosies here and there, but we know the big announcements. And now is a good time to sit back and kind of observe some trends in the knife world and just talk about what I've seen that I'm excited about, what I've seen that I'm not so excited about going on into the future. First up, we're going to do the best ones first. Let's start on a good note. We've got all these knives sitting here, obviously have one thing in common, and this is one of the biggest trends of the last year or so. Small knives. They are so hot right now, as everyone would say. They are so many really awesome small knives coming out, and I think it's great. There's lots of reasons for it. Legality. All these are under 3 inches. A lot of places have 3-inch limits. There's even a lot under 2.5 inches. If you have a 2.5-inch limit. A lot of really, really cool knives coming out. Here are just a few I've got. The Spyderco Little Native. We all love the Little Native, judging by my view counts whenever it appears on the channel. The Benchmade Saibu, which is a nice higher-end little small EDC knife. You've got the CRKT Pilar. There are new versions of it came out this year. This is one of the original ones that actually came out last year. But there is a new version in G10 and then a Blade HQ exclusive that I actually just ordered this very morning with some better steel and stuff. Very popular knife. One that I love that I got recently. The Kaiser Mini Sheepdog. This is just a really cool little knife. You could also even put the Wii Rectifier in that category. It's also under 3. And this is one I just got, this little Tuya. It's kind of neat. It's a tiny little thing, but you know, it's just a cool knife. It's nice to see companies putting effort into really nice knives in this small category. It seemed like for a while everybody was focusing on the big stuff and all the cool innovations came out of the big stuff and the small ones were an afterthought. And that is definitely not the case anymore. I'm very excited to see that. Let's move all these out of the way and get on to the next one. The next one I'm going to talk about is another great trend and probably, honestly, one of the best of the year. If I had to pick one best trend, it would probably be this. Knife companies have finally started to realize that, you know, people like knives that are good EDC sizes and, you know, can actually cut some stuff, which is a really nice thing to see. I'm very happy about that. These are just a few. This is just a few little examples. It's not all of them. But I really like that companies are making not only good EDC size knives, like the 0609 ZTs, a lot of them are pretty bulky for me, or maybe on the other side a bit too small for me. Now they're making really good medium EDC sizes. And not only that, the blade is great. It actually cuts. It's thin behind the edge. People have realized that, oh wow, hey, people like to cut stuff with their knives. Maybe we should make blades that do that. The Rectifier, the Rectifier and the Practic, I always get these two confused. Both prime examples of that. Steel Will continuing with their really great line of EDC D2 knives that are very budget priced and things like that. Very happy to see people making knives to be used. A little bit less focus on the looks, a bit more focus on how they function, a bit more focus on the sizes in your pocket and how they actually carry day to day. That is a great thing. That is a very good thing, and it's something I see industry-wide. These are just a few examples, but every company is doing a pretty good job with that now. A lot of companies, even Spyderco's coming out with, even a lot of their new designs look, some of them are just crazy, but a lot of them are designed just to be, you know, really good EDC knives, and I'm very happy to see everybody coming back to that, focusing on that. A little bit less of the tactical or the super bright and flashy shiny, a bit more focus on, hey, let's make a knife that someone can use every day. That's always a great thing. Another thing that I like coming out lately a lot, and it's happening everywhere. This has been a trend in the knife industry for a long time, but it's happened a whole lot this year, is collaborations. We'll bring the 0609 back out. Collabs, you know, guys that custom designers, you can't normally afford, designing knives with companies that you can actually afford, which is very cool. Again, we're just throwing out a few examples here. You've got the, I could put this in the small knife one also, the Mass Drop Gent with Ferrum Forge. Ferrum Forge is doing a whole lot of stuff with Mass Drop, which has begat other companies doing stuff with Mass Drop. Very cool stuff. I have a Perpetua on order that I'm still waiting for, that I'm very excited whenever I finally get my hands on it. You have, even in the budget range, to really small down, this Tangram Progression designed by Pinkerton. This is a really, really cool knife, and it's got its little maker's mark on it. This is like a $40, $50 knife, and it's, you know, Pinkerton design. Definitely looks like a Pinkerton. You've got the Wee Wasabi with BRR knives. You have, of course, the RJ Martin designed 0609. Very cool just to see all these custom makers that I can't afford. I can't afford to buy, you know, $1,000 real BRR, but I can afford this, so that's cool. It's really nice to be able to get. I can't afford a real Ferrum Forge, but I can afford a Gent. It's pretty cool just to get, you know, 80% of that coolness in a cheaper package. And then, like I said, this is not a new trend, but just this year I've noticed, wow, it seems like everything new is that somebody's making is actually designed by somebody else, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Got Wee with all the Isham designs, so many of them coming out, and Riot with Isham. Isham is just the king of collabs. He has so many coming out. I unfortunately don't have any here right now. I thought I did have one, but I guess I don't. So you lose track of what you got and what you don't on hand. But really excited about a lot of the Isham stuff coming out. I will definitely be having some of it later in the year. That is for sure. This is the last of the really good trends I see is slip joints. Slip joints are like crazy popular right now. Everybody's making really cool, whether it's just modernized traditionals, like this Lion Steel M390 round head, Benchmade kind of, this is their own design, but still more of a traditional sort of design. The Benchmade proper, which has been a big hit for them, or these ultra modern traditionals like the Kaiser Zip Slip and your TRM Viator. Just really cool to see them come out with slip joints. People are like, slip joints, they're not really... Yes, they are fine for work. For your normal EDC sort of tax, they are fine. They're absolutely fine. And legality, again, like talking about the small knives, legality, you may be in a place that's all you can carry. You have to have two-hand open. So why not? The Viator is a perfect example of that. I mean, this thing, slip joint or not, when I got to go cut a lot of cardboard, this is one of the first things I reach for because the blade is just so awesome on it. And the zip slip, one hand open, you're not losing a whole lot. You can't close your finger on it. It's really well designed. And then you want something more traditional, but that traditional kind of look that's not going to frighten anybody or anything like that. But you want some more modern materials. The Lion Steel Roundhead is an amazing knife, as is the Benchmade proper. You get M390 or S30V. Both awesome knives with that traditional look that's not going to bother anybody. But you're still getting your knife nerdness because you know you have wicked, awesome steel in your pocket. Nobody's going to care except you, but you know it's there. And that's a lovely, lovely thing. Now, let's talk about the bad. This first one is a little bit of a nitpick, and you may not notice it unless you're a guy who tears your knives apart a lot, but you should notice it. Got your Wasabi, which you guys will be surprised it's in the bad because it is one of my favorite knives that I have. And Valhalla, also one of my favorites. And this Spyderco PM2. What do all these have in common? They lack one thing in common. All three of these, when they arrived to me, bone dry inside. I don't know what is up with that. I don't know if it's tariffs or something that have suddenly made knife lube horribly expensive or something like that. But these are just three. Just three that I had in front of me that I grabbed. I'm not picking on these three companies. It's everybody. Put some lube on the damn bearings. Like, what is the deal? Every time I've opened up a knife lately, more often than not, bone dry or some cursory, very thin, small amount of some very thin little lube. I know they're on bearings. I know some people say ceramic bearings don't need lube, but they function better when they have it. Just put a little bit in there. I don't know what the deal is with that. That's just something I've noticed. It's a nitpicky thing, but it's becoming an epidemic. So I have to have somewhere to rant about it, and you guys subscribed, so you get to hear about it. Let's talk, we'll leave this one out here for this. We'll leave the Spyderco out for the next one. And where did I put the other I wanted to talk about, which is kind of the poster child for this? Here we go. American prices. A lot of you guys get so upset. I have a couple of you. I had to block one or two that no matter what I say about a Chinese knife, it's from China, it sucks, don't want anything to do with it. Well, American companies need to adjust their damn prices then. If you don't want to see me reviewing Chinese stuff, I don't review Ganzos, I don't review Sanremus, I don't review any clones or anything like that. But the better companies, Best Tech, Wee, Tuya, Riot, I'm going to continue to review them because their prices are sane. A lot of the American prices are not. This is actually a really good value Spyderco. I don't mean, this is just the one I have here. I sold my Shaman, or my Shaman would be here as the poster child. But two things happened. First of all, the Spyderocalypse, Spyderco jacked their prices up. Now, here's a good example of that. This is probably a better, let's switch this out. This is a better example of an overpriced Spyderco. This one's actually an awesome value. The Delica now, 75 bucks for a Delica. You kidding me? They were 50 bucks 2 years ago. That's nuts. The Pilar, great knife. It's only 30 bucks. It's a good price, but the material's not up to snuff. You can spend $5, $10 more on a Chinese knife and from a good Chinese company and get a wicked better knife. You got 8CR13, and this is an awesome design. Another collaboration, a Voxnays collaboration. But awesome design and just cheaped out on the materials. Also, another Kershaw. The Atmos, a Sinkovich, also another collaboration, nice budget collaboration. But they messed it up. 8CR13. I don't know why. And they're just going too, especially in the case of the CRKT and the Kershaw, these are two companies that do it a lot. They go too aggressive in the pricing. They're like, oh, we got this cool collaboration, got this awesome design, let's make it as cheap as possible. Stop it. Stop making it as cheap as possible. We're willing to pay. I would have gladly paid the 50 bucks because I just did. I bought a $50 version of this from Blade HQ with carbon fiber on one side and 12C27 steel. That should have been the one that came out. I shouldn't have to wait for Blade HQ to do an exclusive and fix the problem with it. The Sinkovich, again, this is like, what, 35 bucks? I'd have gladly paid 45, 50 bucks for this knife in 12C28. Or 14C28. I would have gladly paid a little bit more for a little better steel. Stop underestimating our intelligence and aiming for the bottom. If you have a really awesome design, put some money into it. We'll pay it. It's fine. You've got your other cheap stuff. You've got other cheap knives. It's not like Kershaw is running out of knives at $34 or CRKT doesn't have other $30 models. Let them do that. When you got a really good, awesome design, put some freaking money into it. And Spyderco, get a hold of yourselves with the pricing. 180 some bucks for a Shaman is not good, and 75 for a Delica is ridiculous. I don't mean to pick just on Spyderco, but I'm by no means the only person upset about all that. Now, another thing, I guess we'll keep another Spyderco out here for this one too. I don't mean to be banging on Spyderco. They just kind of exemplify a couple things that are bugging me, and they're by no means the only ones. I'm just using the Delica because it's the one I got here in my hands, because you'll see why, because I can't show a lot of the knives I'm talking about because they're not out yet. And that is a problem I've seen too. Too early releases, too early announcements. Some knives even coming out too early. Like Spyderco announced, you know, they put out their catalog. They put out the Reinhold Rhino 2 years ago. It just finally came out. I put in pre-orders for knives that I was told when I put in the pre-order they were estimating June. Now they're saying fall from Spyderco, which is really annoying. ZT put out this wonderful knife, the 0609, wonderful knife. Requires a proprietary tool you have to pay extra for. Annoying, but I was told the tool will be available in 2 to 3 weeks. I've had this knife for a couple months now. Now I'm told the tool's not going to be available till August. Come on, guys. This is June, you know, June 20th, and now I'm being told August? Stop it. You shouldn't have put the knife out, because I can't take it apart. And luckily, mine is fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Blade centering still perfect, all that stuff. But, you know, the detent's a little strong on it. If I had the tool, 2 seconds and I'd have that fixed. But I don't have the tool, so I can't. And therefore, it is horribly annoying. And mass drop, you expect mass drops to be delayed. And I'm using the Gent because it's the mass drop one I have here. But this one actually wasn't. This is the second run, so it wasn't too bad. But when you're getting a first run of a mass drop, it's going to take forever. And I get how mass drop's pricing is, so I'm a bit less upset about the mass drop because you kind of know going in it's not going to get here when you say it is. But I've been waiting forever on a Perpetua. And they did send me this nice thing, though, to say, sorry your Perpetua is taking so long, because it just got delayed another month. But they did send me this. A little nice thing from TJ Schwartz, a little hand-signed thing. That's kind of cool. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it's kind of neat that they sent me that. So they're apologizing. But yeah, just stuff comes out and gets released way too soon. Mass Drop, again, as I said, has to do that because they can't they can't. Yep, they can't start building until people have paid for them. So, you know what I mean. And now that's my next rant is mass drop. Actually, I don't mean to keep railing on mass drop. The weight thing, okay, that happens. That's not what I'm upset with mass drop about. What I'm upset with mass drop about is you go and buy a knife at retail, and then actually this is a better example than that. This is a Wee Minotaur. Awesome knife, fantastic knife, one of my favorite knives of the year. But I went and bought this thing at retail at like $300, and then, or no, I didn't. I did get it at wholesale. But anyway, at the time I bought it, it was $300. 2 weeks later, it's on mass drop for $250. If you'd have bought one at retail, man, you got a right to be pretty pissed off at Wee for doing that, because people look at prices. They're going to say, if you go to put this on the resale market, especially on like blade forums where there's a lot of savvy buyers, they're going to go look at all the prices. They're not going to consider this a $300 retail knife. They're going to consider it a $250 retail knife because at one time it was on mass drop for $250. Doesn't mean you can't get it there anymore. That's where people start judging their prices at. So a knife that you could have easily resold for, you know, $260, $270, now good luck getting $220 on it. That's just really annoying. Best Tech does it. Spyderco's even started to do it, but Spyderco's mostly doing it with exclusives. Cold Steel does it. It's not just, it's no fault of the manufacturers, I guess, really. I mean, it is a good venue to get stuff out, but the mass drop pricing and just companies that just feed stuff to mass drop all the time, it makes it really hard to decide what to buy, because you look at a knife from, you know, a company that sells a lot on there, such as Best Tech, and you look and you're like, oh, I really want that. But wait a minute, maybe if I wait a couple weeks, it'll be on mass drop for $50 cheaper. I may have to wait another month and a half to get it, but, you know, is it worth it? It makes the buying confusing for people. I just wish that people would put old stuff on mass drop or exclusives on mass drop. I have no problem with that. Like Kaiser's but Kaiser puts a lot of stuff on mass drop, but it's usually older models that they're just trying to get rid of. Fine. But when you put your brand new stuff up there, it's kind of a kick in the balls if you just paid retail for it 2 weeks before. There's the end of my mass drop rant. My final complaint, and this is definitely some people may consider a problem, some people may not. That's why I put it last. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. There's just too many knives coming out. I mean, it's crazy, especially some of the higher end Chinese ones. That's why I have a Wee sitting here. Wee, Best Tech, Kaiser to a point. It's just constant new knives. I mean, Wee came out with what, 10 at Blade Show, maybe something like that. Best Tech, another 7, 8, 9. They're always showing prototypes on Instagram and all that stuff. It's great to see what's coming. But notice, I love Best Techs. There's a lot of their designs that I really like, but I haven't pulled the trigger on one recently. I've had some and let them go. I don't currently have one because all the ones I want, I'm about ready to get it, and then I see a prototype on Instagram, or I get a prototype in my mailbox to try out, and I'm like, oh, well, this thing's coming. Maybe I'll wait for that. And then by the time I'm ready to pull the trigger on that, oh, another one's coming. Maybe I should wait for that. And it's just, it's confusing. It is a good problem to have. Don't get me wrong, because there's a lot of awesome stuff coming out by a lot of awesome manufacturers. But it is confusing as a consumer, just to this constant flow of just bang, 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 bang. And a lot of them come and go. It's sometimes when a knife comes out too, they come out with so many. Like with the Wiis, they have so many coming out. I'm wondering how many are actually going to stay in production for a long time. How many are just going to be one run? You don't know, and it's confusing. So that's it. That is my best and worst of 2018 so far. The 2018 model year, I'm going to call it. So let me know what you think down below. I'm sure you disagree with me on some of them. I'm sure you agree with me on some of them. So hopefully some of them you didn't know about. I tried to stick some things in that maybe you didn't notice, make you think a little bit, but hope you guys have enjoyed this and my little ramble and knife shuffling. So I've been Brian. Have a good one.